Hello, everybody. As you know, you'll be doing a number of research projects this school year. So I'd like you to think today about those different kinds of projects and what they might look like in different subject areas. Specifically, let's think about what happens after you learn something from research. Now, research could mean reading information online or from a book. It could also mean interviewing experts, conducting experiments, or collecting survey data, or some combination of these. So let's say you had a research question and you found a bunch of information to answer that question. Now what? How are you going to show what you know? The objective of this lesson is for you to be able to generate products to illustrate your learning. I notice that students frequently stick with the tools that they know the most. So when it's time to create a project, there are a lot of poster boards or Google slide presentations, and sometimes those are good choices for specific projects. But there are a lot of tools out there. Just as we want you to use a variety of resources when you are collecting your research, it's also important for you to know about a variety of resources for sharing your research findings. This Padlet was created to help students generate different kinds of projects to illustrate what they've learned. We hope to share our research findings with real-world audiences as much as possible. To do that, we want to use appropriate tools for that given project topic. For example, if the topic is music composition, it makes sense to use a tool that will allow us to at least play music, if not create it, instead of creating a poster about it. When we choose the tool, we also want to think about our audience and their needs. If our audience for this topic is beginning composers, then maybe our product is a tutorial video with a live keyboard lesson. But if the audience includes music professors, maybe we want charts and diagrams to compare the works of the two different composers and show our understanding of their techniques. The point is, we really need to think about our audience, our topic, and our purpose in sharing our research before we select a tool to communicate our findings. Our discussion question then is, how will you choose the best way to show your understanding after collecting research? We know this will depend on what your topic is and who your audience will be, but it also depends on the tools you know how to use. Some tools are very intuitive, meaning they are easy to figure out right away. Some other tools will do a lot of complicated things that they might take a little more time to learn how to use. If you know how to use a lot of tools, you'll have more options when it's time to share your learning. And it's to your advantage to know a lot of programs because you can ensure your presentation won't be the same as everyone else's. It's hard to keep the interest of your audience if you are the 15th presentation on the same topic using the same tool. So I've put together a collection of resources for you to try, and there are literally hundreds of others out there. These tools are free to use and approved for use in our school district, provided your parents have signed the technology consent form. I recommend you make it a goal to try at least 3 of these tools for projects sometime this school year. You can certainly try more, and I'll be adding more resources here too. First, let's look at some of the research product categories. The first is digital storytelling. This includes creating ebooks, slideshows, videos, and multimedia presentations. Some of the tools in this category include Book Creator, WeVideo, and Adobe Spark. The second category is coding, which might allow you to create a game or an animated demonstration. Some of these tools include Scratch, Tinker, and App Inventor. The third category involves making graphs, timelines, maps, or other kinds of charts. These might also be used as part of digital storytelling from the first category. Some of these tools include a timeline creator from Read Write Think, Pictochart in Canva for creating infographics, and Draw Island, which is good for freestyle maps and cutaway diagrams or other types of graphics. The fourth category is Other, for tools that don't fit neatly into one of our other classifications. These tools include Incredibox, which you could use to share information in a song with animated beatboxers, and Sketchpad for making digital art. For our first lesson, I'll ask you to look at some of the links in the Padlet to get a feel for some of the different tools. You'll want to take a little time to investigate what's there and try them out. Then I'll give you a few sample research projects, and you can discuss which of these tools might be best suited for sharing learning. Here we'll take a little time to pause and explore the different tools in the Padlet. Now that you've had a chance to experiment with a few of the tools, let's talk about our discussion question. How do we choose the right tool for a particular research product? Let's try a few examples. A group of students has been tracking food and packaging waste in the school cafeteria for the past 2 weeks. They want to share their findings with the students and the teachers to try to reduce the waste. What would be a good tool for sharing this learning and research, and why? B. A beginning chess player researches some chess strategies and wants to teach her friends about it. She notices it can be hard to use a single rule of advice because choosing a move depends on many different factors. She learns several different strategies that are useful in certain circumstances. What would be a good tool for sharing this learning, and why? C. There is a new school policy being proposed, and a group of students interviews parents, administrators, teachers, students, and community members about it. They learn a lot about different perspectives and why people do or don't support the new policy, and they want to share their findings. What would be a good tool for this, and why? There are definitely lots of options to share your research, and the more tools you learn to use, the better your products can be for your purpose and audience. The next time you're tempted to put everything in a Google slideshow, consider whether there's another tool that would work more effectively to share your research and learning. Thanks to Open Clip Art for the images in this presentation, and thank you for listening. Go create some wonderful work this school year.